Okay, we're in section 12 of the notes, and we're just going to briefly talk about the sage. All right, so we've been doing it for some time now, and I do want to encourage you. It's voluntary. You don't have to do it. We're not going to test you on it, and you shouldn't be using it for any other purpose than to branch out to something new. Right? It's really not part of the course. All right. So click on that. And what I mean by that's link over here. CoCalc Instant Sage Worksheet. Give it a second. Ah, look at that red sign. What does it say? Free trial, day 62. Boy, I guess I've been using it for 62 days for free. They want me to buy a license though. By the way, I don't want to buy a license. Right? I really don't. So I would not worry about it so much. They'll let you keep doing it, but they do kind of warn you that it's going to get slower and slower and slower. And the reason for that, Sage requires computational power. So I'm a little bit upset by that. I'm going to close it out. And what I'm going to say is that I always said Sage free software. It is, but the web-based version, although it's free, Sage is free. When you're using the web-based version, you're using other people's computer to do the computation. So what I've done is I've downloaded Sage to my computer, and I'm going to run it from my computer now. So I'm going to run Sage to my computer now, and there'll be no warnings. And why is that? Sage is free software, and I'm running it on my computer. So reset. I know this looks a little different to you. I don't have to put shift return anymore. It just returns fine now. Y is a variable. And what's the variable? It's Y, right? It might seem intuitive to you, but it's not to the computer. Computers are very simplistic, by the way. They really need to be spoken to explicitly. Factor. I'm going to type in something wrong just to show you that something happens. 8y cubed plus 27. And hit return, and it says there's a problem. By the way, it's pointing at the problem. And you should know that what the problem is. I failed to put the star in. So let me go back up there. I'm going to do the same thing again. Star y cubed plus 27. And I try to factor it. And it factors it. I just want to go back in the notes. I want to see if I see the problem. Well, right here. Now someone says, oh, that's not the problem. It really is. The only difference is this is 8x cubed plus 27. I said 8y cubed plus 27. Now let's look at their answer. All right. What's their answer? Well, Sage actually commutes the factors, but it's really the same answer. It's, 2y. Well, it's 2x plus 3. And then it's 4. This says y squared. That says 4x squared minus 6. This says y. That says x. You get the idea. Now, granted, you can do other problems. For example, I'm going to try number 5, but here comes the problem. You're learning. I'm going to clear this. So why did you clear it? I want to see if I've learned anything. So I'm going to say there's 3 variables, right? I already did y, but the variables in this thing are y and z. All right. Put z down. C is a variable. I misspoke. I said there was 3 variables, only 2 variables. So I've already defined both y and z now. So what I'm going to do, factor. Now remember, it's 2 star z cubed minus 8 star z squared star y plus 8 star z star y squared. Now someone could say, can Sage do that? I hope it can. It's a simple problem. We did it by hand, by the way. At least I hope you did it by hand. Let's hit the return thing. Let's see what happens. And what do I say over there? I'm going to point out, you might think it's different, but it's not different. What is it? 2 star z. I see that. What else do I see? 2y minus z squared. Oh, that is a little different, isn't it? So here comes the problem, though. Someone says, I wonder if it's the same thing. Well, I want to be honest with you. It's exactly the same thing. So what I want to do is I want to expand it. I've done this before. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to expand it. And if you expand it, what do you get back? Well, I want to point out what you get back. You get back this over here, 8y squared z, I see that, minus 8yz squared, I see that, plus 2z cubed. Now, someone says, why is it in a different order? That shouldn't bother you. It really shouldn't bother you at all, right? We know that multiplications are commuted and additions are commuted. We can move terms around. I'm going to expand what they have in the answer key, though, and see if I get the same answer, though. So I'm going to write this down over here, expand. And what do I see? 2 star z, star, z minus 2y. Remember, 2y is typed in 2 star z. I'm sorry, 2 star y. Oops. Star, z minus 2y. I'm not beyond making mistakes. Oh, made a mistake already. Look at my code here. Oh, I see it. I see it automatically. And I'll point out what I'm seeing over here. Okay. You may wonder why that is. The 9 and that parentheses are in the same key. I just didn't hit the shift. Okay, I see it. Somebody can say, it's really tough to look at that. It is. But you should notice that this here is equal to this here. Okay, I want to do one more thing. I'm going to copy this, paste it, double equal sign, whoops. And I'm going to put this over here. I want to see what happens. Okay, I'm going to type this in. I know this is hard. We're going to talk briefly about it. Yes, I know a lot about Sage. I'm going to type this whole thing I typed in. And what I'm asking Sage to do is, Boolean stands for a guy named George Boole, and he came up with this algebra system that has these answers either true or false. I'm going to see if this is a true statement. And it is. It's true. It is equal. All right. I know that's overwhelming. Right. The problem with this is it becomes particularly overwhelming when you transfer to a institution, like some of our students going to get NJIT, they get there and other students have been playing around with computer algebra system for years and you haven't. This is why we want you to play around with Sage now. It's early. You're going to get used to it. It's like learning a new language, though. It's tough. It's frustrating. There's going to be a ton of errors, right? One thing I want to go to. All right. I know this is frustrating. If you're tuned out, that's fine. I'm going to close this out and I'm going to go back to the web. Go back to the web. I'm going to go to sage.mathography.org. All right. Let me tell you what I just typed in. Sage.mathography.org. These are my websites. On the website, what I've done is I've designed a guidebook for students interested in learning about Sage. So if you click on this thing over here, a guidebook is going to open free of charge. It's, I'm not going to say it's edited by anyone but me. That's a problem, by the way, because I make mistakes. You may read this and say, hey, there's an error there, there's an error here. I'll guarantee there's an error somewhere. All right. But you can read through this if you want. And what does it do? It goes through the basic stuff that we do at Essex. We do arithmetic, we do algebra, we do pre-calculus, we do calculus, we do linear algebra, we do differential equations, and discrete mathematics. This document is designed for our students. It covers those topics. Does that mean you want to learn everything? I don't know. But let's say you just want to learn how to do arithmetic, that's fine, or algebra, how to solve an equation. This document has it in it. All right. A lot of stuff here. So let me go back to my Sage website. Again, that's sage.mathography.org. Again, we talked about the guidebook over here. All right. So I also want to point out one other link on the website is this guy's Gregory Bard's website. Let me click on that. And I see that he has a website in Sage as well. All right. He's an associate professor of mathematics at another school. He wrote a book that was edited. What does that mean? A commercial publisher decided that his book was worthwhile and they published it. You can get it on Amazon. It's expensive too, but you could actually go to Amazon and buy his book. The publisher, which I was kind of surprised to hear this, also allowed him, which is really strange, allowed him to post the video, I'm sorry, post the book in PDF format on his website. And it's going to be here. You notice it says black and white version and color version. If you click on this, it's going to download the file. And it's going to open it up. All right. And you can read that if you want. Do not feel obligated to do so. All right. So what are we talking about? Getting your feet wet. You want to get your feet wet? Great. But no one is going to shove you into that water. You have to make that decision. All right. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you next time.